I got a fever. The only
You went Italian. You went too Italian.
Yeah, you were too
the
Italian.
only prescription is more cowbell.
I'm Juicy Mike. I got a fever.
The only prescription.
Boom!
Cowbell.
Boom! Boom! Boom!
Max brings the boom.
3 booms for Robbie.
Boom.
Boom! Boom!
Chicken face.
Hello, and welcome to the Infinity Rose podcast, the only podcast that's perfectly balanced, as all things should be. My name is Isaac Edlund. I am your host tonight, and I have 3 other Infinity Bros with me. It is incredible to have 4 Infinity Bros on an episode. So, without further ado, let me introduce who is on the podcast. It is the tinfoil hat distributor and carrot distributor of the Infinity Bros universe, Mark Jones.
I'm back. And
He's
know
back.
what? Maybe we get into the weeds tonight. We got something extra special for you all.
Just a little bit. You might just pop into them.
I might
spend a
just
little.
drag you all in there and leave you there.
Oh, wow. That was fighting words right there. Next up, we have the beautiful face of the Infinity Bros. It's Robbie Sauter.
Yeah, happy to be on another podcast. I didn't know we did these anymore, but apparently this is a special one. We're gonna be getting deep into those weeds, spread those weeds around.
Robbie, has anybody told you that you have a beautiful voice as well, though?
I've had one person ever tell me that they like my voice. It was not my wife.
Was it Zane?
It was Jarrett.
Mm.
There you
Yeah.
go. That
Wow.
makes sense. Well, you have a beautiful voice to match your beautiful face, in my opinion.
Thanks, bud.
Last but not least, the prodigal son of the Infinity Bros universe returns. Infinity Bro Max Mosier is back. How are you doing, Max?
Doing great. Serge Ibaka, Waka Flocka, Chewbacca, doesn't matter. Lakers in 4, baby. Lakers in 4. We got Luka back.
Back? Did you have
I know.
We just got it.
I've been really excited to
Max,
use this as my
Luka
intro for the last 45
has not been on
minutes.
our team.
I know, but in my heart, he was always a Laker. So that's all. I felt like I wanted to lead off with that.
Have you received your Luka jersey yet?
I haven't purchased it yet, but I did look into it. And
He couldn't spell the last name,
also
so he wasn't able to get it.
Does this
well,
one have
it's
a
hard with
swirl
like,
over
you know,
it,
the
or does
little
this one have a swirl?
asterisk. Yeah, where does the swirl go?
Good question.
I had to
Both of them.
actually go purchase professional clothing today because I need to buy 2 new shirts. So it was either that or that. So I made a business decision, but it didn't feel
A
good.
jersey's
Where do you,
Yeah,
where, do
but
you
glad to
shop?
be here.
Where do you shop for professional clothes?
We're Schmidt.
Let the world know. DXL?
I'm wearing
Elbow
Schmidt.
pads? Men's
Yeah,
warehouse?
it depends. It depends. I'm just looking
JCPenney's
for. I like Sonoma. It's a good brand. They got a good 3XL shirt, so I grabbed a couple of those. But there's some good Ralph Lauren stuff too.
Right.
You know, Roosevelt's has some amazing nerd stuff that is still sharp looking. That's where I go for my Sunday best. There's your recommendation, Max.
Thank you.
It's also expensive, so might not be for your
Right up his
everyday
alley.
wear. Rolling in the big bucks,
He's got
Max Mosier.
those chicken bakes in the boom. What else does he need?
If you want a little snippet of what we're all laughing at, you can check out the Infinity Bros Patreon. A whole 45 to 50 minutes of
It's a whole
just
podcast.
Infinity Bros messing around. That's basically
It
the
was
whole
some
podcast.
real
episode.
messing around, folks.
Okay, there was some messing around, but there was also some very serious conversation about the fruit that Adam and Eve picked and portals.
And our athletic beliefs.
If you're interested in that kind of thing, check out the Infinity Bros Patreon. Link in the show notes for that. You can subscribe to hear exclusive content for $2 a month. The low price of $2 a month to hear some Infinity Bros goodies. You can also check out Robbie on Instagram. Now we have I don't even know what those things are called, Robbie. Is it like a
channel?
It's like a safe space or
It's a
whatever
channel.
for our
It's not
Instagram
safe.
page.
Instagram
It's not safe?
channel. You
Oh.
can join the channel. If you go to our profile, there's a little button there that says like join the channel. I also put it on our story every often. We have like 100 something people that partake in our channel talk. So it's kind of like Discord. I mean, if you join the Discord, you can join the channel on Instagram.
A little behind the scenes peek at what Robbie's doing on our social media. All of the masses following him because of his beautiful face and his real hot takes on magic and other things. So are you disagreeing with me that you have hot takes?
I don't. I try to stay away from hot takes. I'm not smart enough to argue with all these people. They're way bigger than I am.
Well, in magic,
can't even
but
have
on
hot
other
takes.
things, you still have hot takes.
Yeah, still. Yeah.
Can you give us a little taste of your hot takes? Like, what's the most recent hot take that you've?
What's a hot take?
Come across? Yeah.
Fantastic Four's teaser trailer was lazy as crap, and I'm concerned. Maybe they don't care.
Been good.
That's your take of the. Hold on, what?
The teaser trailer.
Well, it was hot.
The teaser.
Wait, was
I
it?
think he's talking about the teaser trailer.
I said teaser trailer.
This whole
Teaser
trailer was probably
The
a teaser
teaser.
trailer, but
Extra
the teaser
teaser.
trailer.
The teaser trailer.
The teaser for the trailer.
The teaser
The
trailer.
teaser
The
for
teaser
the
trailer. Also, Jurassic Park should just stop.
Okay, hold on. We got to get to our
Okay,
show. What
yes,
are
that
you
was a
doing?
hot
You're jumping
take.
the
Stop
gun.
it.
You
Stop.
said to give hot takes. I gave you hot take.
Yeah, well, stop giving hot takes now, Robbie.
You
Okay,
asked for
one
it.
was enough. One
It's
was
too
enough.
hot. Get
Magic
out of here.
Gathering sent me free stuff, but they should still slow down. There you go. Stop making so much product. It's too much.
Now he's just flowing. He's just flowing with the hot takes. We got to stop.
Imagine
him
if
before-
they're a publicly traded company, how much product they'd be shoving out. Good thing they're
Shoving
not.
so much product.
We did mention the Fantastic Four teaser trailer, but we're going to be talking a little bit about the actual teaser trailer later in this podcast. We're going to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth trailer, which Robbie also had a hot take about. We're probably going to, I guess, go into Robbie's hot take about Jurassic World Rebirth
Yeah, we are.
when that comes around too. So, and then we're also going to give a little preview for Captain America Brave New World, which comes out February 14th, next week already. So a lot of big things we're talking about. But first, before we get into all the deep stuff in this podcast, we wanted to give a little shout out in our Snap Squad.
Snap Squad.
Snap Squad.
Oh, yeah. It's the Snap Squad.
So our Snap Squad is just our segment that we can shout out somebody in our community that we have potentially interacted with or we're trying to promote. And today we're shouting out Jacob Prather from Billings, Montana. Jacob actually met Infinity Bro Jarrett in a local game store, and he recommended to follow the Infinity Bros on Drip, basically to, buy Robbie's product that he pushes out. So that was pretty amazing that somebody knows who we are. And then Jarrett was like, hey,
Oh, wow.
I'm an Infinity Bro.
It was like, I do that. Yeah, Jacob.
Shout out to
Snap Squad for
Jacob. Cool that you were able to meet Jarrett. And we're excited to meet with you and hang out with you and hope you enjoy our content. So,
Jacob, I'm sorry I don't really stream on Drip anymore, but thanks for being there. It's fun while it lasted.
Good man,
it was a
Jacob.
fun ride.
You're the man.
Next up, we have some nerd news.
Nerd news.
Hey, Zane, I was looking into getting into this Gunpla thing. There's one called the Unicorn Banshee. What the heck is that all about? Actually, Jarrett, what you're thinking of is RX-0 Unicorn Gundam 2 Banshee, which is from the Mobile Suit Gundam. Actually, you know what? It's time for nerd news.
Oh, I thought we were doing. Oh, I forget what our bits are anymore.
Always been the same.
You can be whatever you want.
I just like
Say
I like
whatever.
singing nerd news. I think it's very
Reality
You can sing
TV.
nerd news. That's fine.
nerd news.
Maybe that'll be our new bumper. Wizards of the Coast has announced that they are going to be producing some live action Magic the Gathering movies. I'm going to let you take this, Robbie, because you
All right.
obviously know way more
Yeah,
about this.
let me
than I
take it because Wizards of the Coast
Yeah.
didn't actually announce it.
Okay, all right. There you go. I just assumed they did, so.
They are part of it, but Command Cast, which is one of, if not the biggest Magic the Gathering podcast, they have some fairly, in the Magic the Gathering world and actor world, some decently well-known people on their podcast. But they announced that they had just got off the phone with Hasbro, Legendary, and Wizards of the Coast, and that they're moving forward with a movie / TV show multiverse or multiplane series. So in the future, we're going to be getting some MTG movies and TV shows. I made a quick video on it, but it's essentially how kind of planeswalkers work. They're basically superheroes, and they can travel between different planes of existence. So they already have their own multiverse built in kind of thing. So it'll depend on what they want to do with that. That would be probably the easiest route for them to go. There are other different stories that they could dive into, but it'd be a lot easier to go with. These are our planeswalkers. They're basically superheroes. They help save things. There's a lot of really good stories in Magic the Gathering. The lore is very deep. It's very expansive. But yeah, it'll be interesting. We don't know anything else other than the same people that helped make Dune and like the Godzilla movies and all that. They are all in on this. It's coming. We're getting Magic the Gathering more and more into mainstream media.
And if it's anything like World of Warcraft, Robbie, don't you think that's going to be a win for this? Like, do you think with how video game movies are being pushed, how all these different Marvel things, all these nerdy things that for years have been looked at as poor or bad or just gross, if they can get it right, don't you think they can get butts and seats?
Absolutely. I think that's the interesting thing, because I think there's a few different ways you can go about this. You could go about this as one of the big epic storylines and start off right away from there, just because I think if you want to get butts and seats and like have a big summer flick, that's what you do. I would actually rather they just go one by one planeswalker wise, kind of like what the Avengers did at the beginning. Like start with one planeswalker, have a story with them, character build with them, and maybe introduce one or two other like minor planeswalkers, your superheroes, and then build into this massive universe, which obviously would bring them to more and more movies and TV shows, etc. So that would be my building point. Make it just Avengers the bit. It's been what, 15 years? Like, it'll be fine. Avengers the bit.
I said World of Warcraft earlier. I meant Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, I had to slip after.
I ignored.
I think you
said
picked
that.
up what I was saying. What I was trying to say. I think it can be a win, though. Just as somebody who just is a nowhere near the level of fandom of Magic that Robbie is, I think it can be a win simply from the fact that the Dungeons and Dragons movie was one of the better movies years ago that came out, and just they understood what they had. People that were involved gave everything they had to it. If somebody can be passionate about this project, I don't see a reason why this can't be a long-standing franchise.
Well, and it has Hasbro's backing, so like you're gonna get toys and cards and all the extra stuff. So there's so many ways that they can pump this into your big box stores, make this a big media thing. The opportunity's there. They gotta do it right. So they could absolutely completely mess this up, and it could be awful. We've seen that happen with, well, what you did mention, World of Warcraft.
Yeah, right, yeah.
It could be terrible, but hopefully it's good. It's exciting news. There is a Netflix animated show coming out that was talked about years ago, and then it was brought back, and that is still happening. We don't know if there's going to be any connection to that, but I was like, that would be a good place to just start, like see, like, read the room based on that, and then work your movie magic. I don't know. We'll see.
Kind of do the James Gunn DC thing. Start out with the Creature Commandos, and you can use those characters and IPs and stuff in different things that they do. Yeah, that'd be kind of a test the waters type thing.
Yeah, test the waters, gauge the interest, like, and then if people hate it, then it's like, okay, don't do this with the movies. like that's all you gotta do. Like, it'll be easy.
They have to slap Magic the Gathering on it in some capacity, though, right? Like, you can't just call it an offshoot or a certain character or a certain storyline. You have to put a Magic the Gathering movie, right?
Yeah, it'll be like, I don't know what they'll do, but I mean, kind of like DC Studios, MCU would just be Magic. I would assume Magic they have to build their own studio, because I don't know if you want to go by the Hasbro moniker, but
that doesn't help.
We'll see.
Those movies haven't done well from Hasbro.
No, so we'll see. I mean, it's all going to come down to the director, and then who's the head honcho, right? Like, who's calling the shots on this? As if it's Zack Snyder, you'll have a fan base. They're built in. It's a built-in fan base, but it's gonna be, mixing it up on both aisles there.
Magic the Gathering cinematic universe is on the horizon.
There it is.
The modern horizon. Just a little Magic the Gathering pun there for you. Thanks. It wasn't a good one because I don't.
Modern Horizon is a set. That's what I said.
That's what I said. Modern Horizon. There you go. Yeah. Next up, on our nerd news is the Jurassic World Rebirth trailer just dropped yesterday. This will be the 7th entrant in the Jurassic Park world universe. It's going to be a new story. Chris Pratt not involved. Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey starring in this one. And it's 5 years post Jurassic World Dominion. It's basically they're going back to one of the islands, the cloning facilities, to gather more dino DNA because that's what they do in Jurassic World movies and park movies. So there you go.
How original.
Yeah, I will 100% agree that it's not original, but I don't care.
Yeah,
I want more dinosaurs.
Like, I'm
Couldn't they
going
just
to
like
this
use a drone, fly that thing in there,
right?
like
You-
get some
Hey,
DNA and get
But
out?
then we don't have a plot,
In this universe,
so-
we've invented cloned dinosaurs, but not drones. We
Not
didn't do that in
drones.
this universe.
We skipped drones for dinosaurs.
What I've heard from the background of this movie is that they're going to extract DNA that can lead to some like big medical breakthrough or like curing cancer or curing like heart
So
disease.
clearly, Big
something like
Pharma's
that, so-
the one that's going to kill him at the end.
Obviously, yeah. They're the ones backing this expedition, apparently. If InGen, I guess, doesn't exist anymore, then Big Pharma will be next on the list. So this actually has a Michael Crichton, who wrote the Jurassic Park books, actually helped write the script for this. So
Oh,
that's
like
kind of an
really
interesting
good.
note.
There are books.
There
Yeah,
are
there's
books.
Jurassic. That the original Jurassic Park's
Literally-
based off a book.
I
It's
did
based
not
off a
know
book.
that. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Learned
I think there's
something
only
today.
2 books though.
He
I
also wrote
think, if I'm
Westworld, Robbie.
remembering
Like
correctly.
he was
Yeah.
he was one of the writers of Westworld.
I hope just the first
Yeah.
2 seasons.
Michael Crichton died like in 2008. Like,
Wait,
there's,
he did?
Like, unless he, yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure he's been dead for a
He's
while.
listed as a writer on IMDb.
Well,
That's
maybe they're
weird.
using
Dude.
something from his books into this.
Maybe they're
Mark-
just using
that
his
could
book
be it.
material.
This guy
That
is so
counts?
into Jurassic World that he's written the Lego Jurassic World TV miniseries scripts for multiple Lego Jurassic World miniseries. 2019, 2016, 2015.
So then he can't be dead. Because that
How
would
does
make
that
any
work?
sense.
He'd said, yeah, I'm looking at his IMDb right now, and it says he died in 2008. Why is he listed as a writer on all these things then? Because he wrote the source material?
It could be. I mean, it could be like one of those
So they're
things that
giving him-
DC has, where
they're
it's like
giving
they
him
always
two
have to
credit
give him
his
the
movies.
crap. They're
Interesting.
for it.
Okay, well.
Yeah, it has to be some, just like how, with Batman, Superman movies. Like, I don't know if you just said that, Robbie. I'm sorry. But it's just like that, where it's like
It's what-
they get a credit.
Yeah, but he wrote. I misspoke earlier, Robbie. He wrote the Westworld book,
in
like
when?
the original
Doesn't it?
Westworld that they had adapted the show.
They adapt. Yeah.
Well, let's back up a little bit. So, Robbie, books are these things that are like they're written on paper, and
What did I do?
You read stories-
deserve this.
You've done a lot. Don't act like this is. Don't act like you're.
I didn't do anything to deserve that. Jeez. Can you go back? Explain that whole book thing again.
so it's like stories that you
It
can
was a
tell,
joke. You
but
don't
they're
have to
written
go-
down on paper. Paper is things that you write on, made from trees. So, anyways, the trailer
because it's
dropped
based on
the other day.
characters from the movie. That's why he gets writing credits.
From
So
the
there must be
movie?
characters from
Oh.
the original book, because there's only one Jurassic Park book.
So
So someone
okay,
from
here's
that book must
actually
be
a
involved in
point
the
where
movie.
this may come into play. There is a river chase scene in the trailer that is apparently straight out of the book, and I've never read the book, so I don't know what is and isn't part of
thought
the
you were a real
It's
fan.
been forever
book.
ago since I've read it.
I tried. I got about a couple chapters in, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I want to try again though. We'll give it another shot at some point.
Reading can be hard, Isaac. You just got to
I
try
know.
again.
It can be. It can be. Robbie knows. He knows this. So I'm excited about this because I don't care what they do. I'm gonna watch every Jurassic Park World movie that comes out ever because I love dinosaurs and they're awesome. So
Dinosaurs are
And
sweet.
it can't be any worse than Dominion. That last one. That one was kind
yeah.
of that was
Dominion
Jurassic 3
was-
level
was
vibes for
rough.
me. It was
Here's the thing. I don't even pay attention to the stories. I just like dinosaurs. I just see dinosaurs.
Yeah,
I'm like,
same. You don't even
this
need
is
to pay
fine.
attention to the story.
like if I had to rank the Jurassic Park movies, I would have no clue how to rank them because I'm just like dinosaurs. Cool.
I mean, the first three
Like-
are pretty legit to me. I like the first three. All of the Jurassic World movies they're not the greatest movies.
I don't mind
They're
them.
like
I'm-
they're your summer blockbusters. Like they're
Yeah.
fun to watch. Like they're entertaining. They're to me what Fast and Furious is to Max. They're my
fair.
guilty pleasure movies.
That
I
makes
love them.
I completely understand it now.
The Fast and Furious movies, I can't stand because they're all the same and they get more and more ridiculous every single movie they go on. But guess
It's
what?
irrational. It's
If you like
irrational,
cars,
and I understand.
it's irrational.
Max
Right.
It doesn't make
Max has a
sense. They're great.
fever, and the only prescription is more Fast and the Furious.
Yes.
He's got a fever.
Guilty.
Only prescription is more Fast and Furious.
For some reason, seeing Vin Diesel survive in multiple different ways in a car.
Turns into Captain America.
Yeah, it's really
incredible.
remarkable.
Goes to space in a car.
I think this Jurassic Park movie, in Robbie's defense, is unnecessary. But in your defense, Isaac, they have opportunity to see how far they can push CGI with like having dinosaurs chase people. So there's an audience for this. Scarlett Johansson's a great actress too. So I think getting her and Mahershala Ali is a huge win for them in this. So I think it's worth maybe watching it at home. I am not going to go to the theater for this, but in terms of like reviewing it and checking it out, I would
back and anti-theater's back. Here we go.
Just brought it
This
right
is
back.
like Max. You and I are fairly on the same level for the theater thing, but like this is the type of movie you go to the theater for.
Yeah, this is a
big
this is
action.
a blockbuster.
It's summer
Like, this is
action.
an
It's a
event
blockbuster.
movie.
Like these are the type of movies you go to the theater for. Like I'm not a Fast and Furious fan, but like for you, do you go to those movies in the theater? Or not?
Right. Yeah, yes and no. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you're putting great words into what I should have said earlier. It is a popcorn movie that people want to go see in the theater. Just for me, I think with how Dominion ended and how like all these other Jurassic Park, the last couple Jurassic Park movies to me have kind of fallen flat. I had higher expectations and hopes for them, especially with like Chris Pratt and other bringing back your boy.
That's
Isaac,
a problem.
Malcolm, bringing him back. Yeah, that's the pickle, right? You gotta leave those at the door, and I'm able to do that with Fast and the Furious. But for some reason, I got to get rid of that with Jurassic Park. So I'm middle of the road on it, but I totally get the excitement if you're a diehard. Totally get it.
One other note from the trailer that I just want to mention is they mentioned several times that they've been and they have been in the other Jurassic World movies, like experimenting with like hybrid cloning, all this stuff. There is a dinosaur / monster thing that appears in this trailer.
/
Rancor, exactly. That looks like no other dinosaur we've seen before. But there's a theory going around on Reddit. They're calling it the D-Rex, that it's this failed cloning experiment that they just dumped on Isla Sorna, which I'm assuming is the island that they're going to, because Isla Nublar is the one that blew up in the volcano with the Jurassic World movies. But yeah, they're going back to this island and this thing is stuck there. So they're going to run into them. And I don't know, this looks like almost a return to kind of like the horror vibes that you got in the first couple movies. And we kind of lost that when they became a blockbuster franchise. If we get horror stuff from this, I'm all in on that. I mean, I'm all in either way, but I think it would be really fun to get back to the roots of that franchise a little bit. I'm very excited about Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm going to go to the theater 3 weeks in a row. Jurassic World, Fantastic Four, and then
do we have a name for that month
Superman
yet?
is in the middle.
Super Fantastic Jurassic?
Super Fantastic Jurassic July is what I called it on our socials, but
I like that.
I don't know what other people are calling it.
So are we saying with this new Jurassic World movie, we aren't going to have like a scene with Bryce Dallas Howard running away from a T-Rex in her high heels and outrunning it? Where you get some legit stuff?
She's an athlete.
Probably not. She's an athlete.
Us
unfortunately.
Unathletic wouldn't understand.
Can do it.
Yeah. The month of July is going to have me back in the theater. I'm with you there.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. Like 3 weeks in a row. I don't think I've even been 2 weeks in a row since COVID. Like, have I ever been 2 weeks in a row? I don't even know if I ever have, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. I suppose with my kids, I probably have at some point. But yeah, 3 weeks in a row. I'm going to have to. They're all going to be amazing movies, and I can't wait. Speaking of Fantastic Four, the next big thing on our list is the Fantastic Four First Steps teaser trailer, which was released on February 4th, F4. Robbie mentioned initially in his hot takes segment that we came out this little teaser trailer. It was like a 15-second clip that basically was trying to hype people up that this is going to be on Good Morning America, which nobody wants to watch anyways.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it was kind of weird. It was like a clip of children running, and then it had the weird giggly audio clip that you hear in a lot of movies 3 times.
Yeah, we heard it 3 times, but we got insight from a guy that has worked on Marvel projects in the past. And essentially, he said that they just send these things out and they do it like really short notice, and then they just expect like a good trailer, and then whatever they get is kind of what they get, and then they're just like, cool, here you go. Like there's not as much thought into it as we probably put into these things, but it's just, which is wild to think about when we're sitting here talking about it for months ahead of time. But
when we talked about this offline, Robbie, and my first claim was like, oh, it's an executive getting cheeky and being like, oh, it's February 4th, let's put it out, and saying that. But the more I've thought about it since we've talked about it, the more I'm leaning more like, well, maybe Feige just doesn't, with all the leaks of everything he has, he probably has to be very strategic, or his team is coached. Tell who you need to tell when you need to tell them, not a minute before, because there's so many leaks. So I think there's got to be some credibility to that. But to your point too, like if they're not going to pay these individuals and these people that make this art a fair wage, which is what it appears to be the case, at least the last 5 to 10 years, you're going to run into situations like this.
It's just wild that then you get the people defending like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's just a teaser trailer. It's like, why are you defending the multi-billion-dollar company that was lazy?
No. Leave Disney alone.
Oh yes, yeah. Can we just stop with the teaser trailers? Like you don't have
the teaser trailers shouldn't even exist.
Coming.
We only need one trailer per movie.
Just tweet it. So. Trailer tomorrow, 9 a.m. on this.
Or you can announce it in a tweet. Just tweet it.
Yeah, it's like I don't need a whole little 10-second
retweet
clip
this
that
to
has
be
nothing to do
with
the trailer. Tomorrow.
That's
by the way.
Slam dunk.
To tell me that there's a trailer coming.
Here's the comment that was left by Trans Tech Kid on our YouTube.
His actual name is Brian Creasy. He is credited on multiple Marvel projects. So
he says, as a person who has been in the visual FX industry for 20 plus years and knows a lot of editors, I can guarantee you they started with a temp audio track, then gave the edit house like 0 time to do the trailer, which left even more not time for the audio house. Like they probably had a day before it got shoved out because someone somewhere waited months for an executive's approval on some esoteric BS in the trailer, which caused a ton of delays and left no time for the creative. This happens with almost no fail on every commercial I work on these days, and the Marvel films got so bad, I'm glad I'll likely never do another one. Almost all of the bad CG or CG was better in the 90s. Audio is due to this, no money and even less time, and the studios want everything from us in return.
Well, given his background, Brian Creasy is a visual effects artist, art department, and has done crew for Ready Player One, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers, Infinity War. Like the guy has done stuff.
Yeah, I still hold to like, I understand why Feige wouldn't want certain information to go out. I know the argument that this artist is making is like, well, dude, like some of this is irrelevant to the trailer. It's just putting more work on us or creating unnecessary edits. I'm behind that. I'm with the artist on that. I just also think in the era of like a picture gets grabbed on a teaser at Comic-Con, I think at some point these they do have to care about it. It's weird. I agree. Like it's a fascinating piece of insight. I know we're getting deep into the weeds over a teaser trailer, but like I think the teaser trailer did have value, and Mark and I have talked offline about our theory about this movie. So we'll see, but yeah, it's weird, dude.
Teaser trailer, super weird. Kind of set us up for, I don't know, all of us are kind of heading into it like, what's going on here? Like, what are we expecting from this trailer? So it finally dropped on the 4th, which was Monday. And just to give a little bit of background on the Fantastic Four First Step, so that is dropping, like we mentioned, in July, I believe the 25th. Yep, 25th of 25, directed by Matt Shakman, starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, Eben Moss-Bachrach. And yeah, so we're all very excited about this. Typically, we have gotten a teaser trailer by now. Like we already got one for Superman like 2 months ago. And so this is the first thing we've really seen for Fantastic Four at all. And now we're, that's happening in July. This is 5 months out. So it's a pretty late for a teaser trailer. I don't even really hate that decision, honestly. Let's keep everything as hush-hush as possible till the last possible second, and then you can decide whether to watch it or not. But, when we do it so early, it's like, yeah, now you're going to see it eventually online. Like at some point you will see it before the movie drops, which a teaser trailer, not a big deal. But when you get to the big trailers that are starting to reveal plot points and stuff, then it's a little bit deeper, in my opinion. So what did you guys think of the trailer coming into it? What were you excited for Fantastic Four First Steps? And then what did you think, overall thoughts on the trailer itself?
I came into this with zero hype because I've had the lower expectations than see the last few years. So I was just going in raw, just take it all in. And I sincerely enjoyed the trailer. I really dug the aesthetic that they're putting out there. And I think they put enough in there to really, make, well, in our case, we're really, spread out the theories that we could have, what we could be seeing come July.
No, yeah, the trailer was solid. It was enjoyable. It built hype without telling too much about what to really expect in this movie, because we know that it's coming to the MCU, right? Like it's all going to be connected, but this is obviously set in the past, which makes you think, well, this obviously can't be the same universe or whatever. And I don't know. It's been so difficult to keep up with what's in what universe and how disconnected everything is now, especially with the amount of time that's elapsed since we've had Marvel project after Marvel project after Marvel project, which we used to. But no, the trailer built enough hype. The Thing looks incredible, and anyone that doesn't think that has never looked at a comic book in their entire life, because he looks like the comic book, and like it looks really good. The aesthetic, like Mark said, looks fantastic. I love that old style look.
What did you say?
It brings me back to when we first got glimpses of Mac's gonna hate this, but WandaVision. And that aesthetic was, because I was thrilled for that aesthetic. So who knows? Maybe I hope Wanda isn't behind this too, but maybe she is. Maybe they're all for her kids. I don't know. But no, I'm excited for it. It built enough hype for me to be invested. Finally, I feel like there's been a lot of Marvel movies over the last few years. I've been just kind of like, yeah, it looks okay. Maybe I'll wait for it just to come to like be at home and I'll watch it or whatever. But like this one built enough hype for me that's like, this is a must go see in July in the movie theater. So
yeah, Matt Shackman directing it too, right? With the aesthetic, he knows how to make that WandaVision vibe flow, right? So I look, as much as I've knocked WandaVision historically, the way it was filmed and how it looked was tremendous, top to bottom. It's probably what, and a lot of people think it's the most superior show because of that. I echo that, Robbie. This trailer was awesome. This trailer was one of the better trailers Marvel's had in a long time. I think the best Marvel trailer I can think of aside from this would probably be the second Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer. I think like when that one came out, everyone was feeling the emotions of Boseman's passing. So I think this is the best trailer I've seen to date since that one. So I'd give it a 6 out of 6 if we were using our scale. And I think I would echo, I really appreciate you, Robbie, talking early on about the Thing, because the feedback of his voice not being raspy, I said that, but it's not, to me, that's not a like death wish on this movie. It's a different take, and that's fine. And that's just, I wouldn't do it, but it's not going to hurt. I don't think this hurts the character. I think the design is tremendous. I think it's the best looking Sue Storm we've had to date too. That's really the hill I want to die on. Yeah, I'm throwing Alba.
Come after Jessica Alba. You watch yourself.
I just watched this movie this last week.
Watch yourself, sir.
Hey, I
watch
can
it.
get behind Max on that one.
Watch yourself.
Vanessa Kirby looks like a Kirby comic. Like it's hilarious that she has the same last name. Like it is straight out of a comic book onto the screen. It's just tremendous, and it's filmed that way. And it feels like they understand this team. I really appreciate that they're talking about the family vibe. I really appreciate that Reed Richards.
Like it's a dream.
Well, and we'll get to that here in a little bit, Mark, right? Like, I really appreciate this family vibe. I really appreciate that they just care deeply. It's already evident they care deeply for the four of each other. And we've seen barely anything of Galactus, but it's great to see him in it.
Where's Victor Von Doom?
But we're also going to see Silver Surfer in this, right? We're going to see, she's going to be, the female version of it will be in it. And so I think there's just a lot of great hype for this. Isaac, I think the reason too that it came out so late in the game is because of Thunderbolts. I think they really want people to go to Thunderbolts. I think Thunderbolts matters a lot with the movie coming out in a week and a half, Captain America. So I think to them, we're back on like a typical year of 3 or 4 Marvel movies, and they're just like, they're sticking with the rhythm right now. So I think that's the reason they did the marketing thing. But based on what we talked about earlier, maybe they're being late to the game on it, or early too fast to the game.
Yeah, I think you're all hitting the points that I was going to make, but I did want to touch on the voice for the Thing. That threw me off a little bit. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily, because the one big thing about the Fantastic Four, and they even have a line.
You gotta stop
where
saying "thing."
The thing is about the thing.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. They talk about it in the trailer, is that he is the Rock even before he becomes the Thing. He's the Rock of the group. Like he is he's the Dwayne Johnson of the group. He is the solid kind of like base of the group. And I like that they kind of did the normal voice, because it humanizes him a little bit. He's not this monster. And that's the whole thing with the Thing in the comics, is that he's like the most human of all of them, even though he looks like a monster. So I'm kind of digging it a little bit. It threw me off at first, but the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? All right, I can dig it. We didn't get much of Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. There was one cool shot where he there was a little bit of a lens flare where he burnt the lens as he was rolling around. So that was kind of cool. But other than that, there wasn't much on him in this trailer. I like Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. The rainbow energy, or the rainbow prism stuff, is different than what they've done in the past with her invisibility powers and stuff. And I think that's cool. I like it. The vibes, the overall visual part of this trailer, really digging. I'm really excited about it.
I was just gonna say, I think Pedro Pascal's one of the weakest parts of this trailer. I didn't hear anything from him that made me go, "Oh, this is Mr. Fantastic." There's no relevant shot of him getting elongated.
We didn't get to see anything from him stretching.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's because if they haven't finalized CGI.
I find it weird. I think it was a bad choice.
Learning from the mistakes, be like, hey, let's not put out subpar CGI.
Probably. Mm-hmm. I agree, but Pedro Pascal is the top actor on this credit
by far.
I know all 4 of them have something that everybody loves.
He was, and I obviously love Pedro Pascal, but he would not have been my first choice for Reed Richards. I think he'll do great because he's a good
Glenn Howerton.
Okay, but Isaac, who would yours have been?
It probably would have been Krasinski, honestly. Krasinski just looks the part, and he's a great actor as well. But and Pedro's a great actor, so I think he's going to do great. But he just doesn't strike me as a Reed, right off the bat. So I don't know. The one thing that I did appreciate about him in this trailer is that he's doing all the equations on a legit chalkboard. I feel like he's going to be, that's what they're going to focus on in this movie, is his genius, not necessarily his stretchiness as Mr. Fantastic. I think Pedro Pascal will do great. I'm not feeling it necessarily from this trailer either, but I have faith in him as an actor, so I'm not too worried about him necessarily.
He's got the chops, no doubt about it. It has nothing really to do with Pedro Pascal. I'm just saying I'm concerned that they're not showing us that stuff. And Isaac, I'll go a step further. They have yet to make a Fantastic Four movie that showcases those power sets in a way that I think it should. True. The first one, he had the least amount of showcasing in. I just watched these movies last week, ironically. They just don't really do it much. They have a big doom fight that takes 2 minutes. He does stuff in that, but otherwise it's just kind of more gags. And in the original movies, it's a lot of sexual jokes that just don't hit, and they're kind of weird and they're kind of gross. I'll be honest with you. So it's just, I hope that the MCU learns from that, and the genius thing they did nail, but you have to also nail the fact that there's a creative way to do that. And if they didn't let Miss Marvel have this power set, they better showcase the crap out of this power set in this movie.
Do you think we get to see Reed Richards' ult in this movie?
Rivals ult?
Tank.
Fantastic!
Him walking around with the big chest and belly. I would love if they made.
I'm in on that.
That would be amazing.
The One Piece Gear 4 is what he's going to be doing.
I do want to get into the theory, Isaac. Can I get into what Mark and I have kind
I
of
was
been
just
talking
going to
about
dive
offline?
in, so go ahead and tell me what you're thinking.
Part of the reason I think the teaser trailer was built the way it was is Mark and I have gone back and forth. We've added on to this theory, so I'm going to call this a collective theory. But I'm being more sold the more I watch this, thinking that their planet isn't nice, that it's not doing well. And I think Galactus will just be an avatar for Doctor Doom in this. I see this being a movie where we find out the four of them have been captured. It's a quasi origin story. We do see how their story starts, but I think they're going to start to kind of realize as they go throughout the movie that things are not going well. I know a lot of people would claim that's a retread of WandaVision, but I think it just feels way too cozy. And if it is that cozy, then it for sure is a multiversal world. Like Robbie, you talked about that earlier. Where are they? Is a legitimate question they have to answer.
But
In
it
this.
has to be because they're like there's like merch for them everywhere, so it's like it can't be the world we're
Yeah.
used to.
Mhm.
And that is comic accurate.
For sure.
Right?
But how could that be glossed over for 20 years of MCU movies?
So what could be is our Doctor Doom in this movie, who's going to be RDJ presumably, is a Doctor Doom that potentially has the Infinity Gauntlet, has taken them out of this universe and put them in another universe, and like just trapped them. Maybe his whole like thing is like he knows the outcome. Maybe we get a little bit of like he infiltrated the TVA and has knowledge of what the future looks like, and he knows if he wants to conquer this universe, he needs to take the Fantastic Four out. So if he has like hypothetically, if he has the gauntlet, he's able to just bend reality to whatever he wants. Literally, Thanos says that. So that's a theory.
I think it also gives credence to the Secret Wars movie. Because if you're going to get to a Secret Wars movie and you're going to mesh all these worlds together, and that's the big theory, right? That you're going to get Garfield's world, you're going to get Maguire's world, you're going to get the original X-Men, perhaps maybe the original Fantastic Four, or all these different worlds. You've got to show one time before that moment a microcosm of what that could look like. This feels to me like the movie to do it. Make a perfect utopian style world, get out of the typical Marvel equation, have them be in a same people loved the aesthetic of WandaVision, the outcome people debated on, but they loved the way it looked and felt. So Shackman has proven he can do that. You gender bend the Silver Surfer. You have Galactus. They're doing decisions with that certain people love or hate. I have no comment on either of those things. I'm just saying.
I mean, you're not gender bending Silver
Technically,
Surfer.
she's an actual.
No. I'm saying just some
there's
people
heralds
feel
that are okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just saying some people feel like that should be Norrinrad is what I'm saying. And so I think what I'm trying to make the point of is they're twisting things, and it just feels like this is a great springboard to do that. And then they can launch into whatever that next thing is. And just phase 4 and 5 in particular, I'm trying to get away from thinking about the future of Marvel because I just don't trust their future plan as much as I did in the first 3. It felt like in the first 3 you were rewarded for thinking that way, and it just doesn't feel that way anymore. So as much as I would love a theory like that to have fun, credence, and be true, it is just a theory. And regardless, I'm like you, Mark. I'm coming in with like, I want this movie to be strong. I love who they've hired at every single position in this. I like that Shackman's directing it. I feel like this is top to bottom great casting. I'm excited to find out who Malkovich is. I just think there's a lot of cool stuff. And if it doesn't connect with anything else,
from the Reed Richards council.
There you go. Could be that. That would be great. Oh, that'd be great, Mark. I'm in on that. That's just where I stand on. What's your thoughts on
Because that's another thing. If we go John Malkovich, just going right into this, is a council member for the Council of Reeds. I believe there's a comic series where Doctor Doom infiltrates and basically destroys the Council of Reeds. So like he potentially, if he's not Mole Man or Red Ghost or the Puppet Master, that he could be an elderly Reed Richards and he's there to try to help, or he's able to, like, let's say the theory is that Doctor Doom has trapped, or something has trapped him in this world or universe, and this other Reed Richards is trying to get them out.
And John Malkovich too is a cinema guy. Like, you don't get him unless he's all in on the role. So
right.
I think it must be a good enough role for him to be like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like, I'm excited about this. So that intrigued me to see him. I was like, oh, really? He's okay then. He's in on this.
Or they threw a lot of money at him.
Or that too.
Yeah,
That's possible.
everyone has a price. I don't know if this was on the podcast or a few podcasts ago. I kind of brought this up when we talked about Fantastic Four. I mean, we could go down, like, I know we mentioned, like, it could be a WandaVision-esque type of story that we get, where the reality is not what we perceive. But if you do that, I mean, that's how you could introduce, like, the X-Men, too. So, like, that's how you backdoor everything, which could be a slap in the face to us more hardcore fans.
I really think the X-Men are going to be, like, already there, or that story is already kind of started if you watch Miss Marvel, right? Like, I think they're already there. The reason I think this story works for that is because, one, the time period, but also everything they're doing is set in 60s era. So if they make the leap, they're going to be
60s style.
60 style. But I'm saying, like, they're going to have to make
retro vibes. Yeah.
This will for sure be a fish out of water scenario no matter what they do. So even if it's not the theory we're saying, still, when they get to that Secret Wars movie or Doomsday movie, they're going to be fish out of water for sure. No, for sure. Because they're going to be like, what the heck? Tony Stark.
My first thought when this trailer, dropped was that this world that they're in, like you said, Max, it feels cozy. It feels like something is not quite right about this trailer to me.
Feels off, man.
It feels off a little bit. And my first thought was, I bet at the end of this movie, their galaxy, their multiverse, whatever you want to call it, gets destroyed by either Galactus or by an incursion, because we got the mention of incursions at the end of Multiverse of Madness. That's obviously coming with Secret Wars. And like you said, Max, that's how we start bringing everything to Secret Wars, is you get this initial thing that's kind of starts this whole process. And this could be the movie that, like, their multiverse gets destroyed by an incursion and they jump to, so Reed, in that small clip of him working on the chalkboard, there is a drawing or a scale of a multiversal bridge, which a lot of people have postulated about. I literally just saw it online and I was like, wow, that's cool. I knew nothing about that.
So there's an interesting rumor. This is by the Cosmic Circus, put this rumor out that kind of speaking about that bridge, is that Galactus is reportedly in search of Franklin Richards to rebuild his old universe.
Dude, you literally stole my biggest theory. I'm so bummed you said this. Like, okay, I think the kids are already born in this. That's what I was gonna say. I think the kids are already born. I think they're born before they go to space, and I think it'd be a great choice because it's first steps. First steps is the kids' first steps, right? And so, like, I like that, and I like that gives them something to really fight for if they have to go to another universe. Like, what is going to make them motivated to fight alongside the Avengers and get in this big cosmic fight? Either Franklin or, like, just I see something having to do with that. Maybe he has, like, maybe they're going to change his power set and make him the next Molecule Man. I don't know, but I like the theory that the kids are already born in this, and that would give credence to what Pedro Pascal said with we eat dinner on the dot every Sunday at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. though, I mean, they must be pretty old kids if they're eating dinner at 7 p.m. So
that is it. But there's a rock monster in this, Isaac, and they read books, Robbie. I know you don't. It's just stuff like that.
So going off of that theory, one could say, like, maybe the plot is Galactus is hunting them. I'm gonna go off two paths here. Either Galactus is hunting them, Reed Richards figures out how to use this multiversal travel, goes to a different multiverse with the Fantastic Four and his kids, and that's how we get Galactus in the 616. Or we go with Galactus is hunting them, and our futuristic Doctor Doom is like, hey, come with me, I'll save you guys. And then that's how he imprisons them, and then we go from there. And then that maybe it sets up the Doom.
Doom imprisoned them in that world.
Or no, like this world's real to them. Like, it's this world that they live in is completely real. Universe is real. There's no one pulling strings. Doom, being who Doom is, pretends that he's a good guy and tries to save the Fantastic Four, but ultimately he has some nefarious plan, pulls them out of the universe, and that's maybe another way how Galactus figures out a way to get out of this universe too.
I think no matter what, at the end of this, guys, this world is done. Either it's a fictional world, this world is not making it. It's either an incursion or this world is a amalgamation of Molecule Man or like kind of like a Secret Wars thing or just like a computer generated world from Doom. The Doom one is like way out there, but I really think the Incursion one has a lot of validity. I'm pretty confident. I'm bummed you said that, Robbie. I'm pretty confident the kids are going to be in this movie.
We're going to get a Dormammu versus Galactus fight. Is that going to happen?
That'd be slick. I think we're going to get a lot more Silver Surfer in it than we've gotten to, and I really hope we do. I'm really excited about that.
And I know I've talked to Max about this, but we have to have a Doctor Doom at some point in this movie, right? It has to be. RDJ has to show up.
Jumps in sometime.
You don't make that announcement last year without doing it, right? You have to make that announcement before this movie comes out.
And
I don't think you show them. I don't think you show them. Don't. They will mess up.
Oh no, you don't show it. Like you make it either like he shows up right at the end, or you actually going back to what Max was saying, like the future of everything. You start making, then you can start with the Captain America movie, and then the Thunderbolts is like you make the end credit scene actually mean something again that pushes the story that something's going to come up, that's how you rebirth, how you first steps this new phase is you have RDJ show up at the end credit scene and showing his true colors.
They can't ruin the movie by showing RDJ right in a trailer.
Yeah,
but what they can do is they can show Doom's mask. Because that'll get all the comic people that already know the RDJ is doomed to tell all their friends the RDJ is going to be back or whatever, and that'll build enough hype. I think that they need.
If Captain America and Thunderbolts don't do well, I think absolutely they'll start dropping stuff like that to get people to come to this movie.
The hype for Captain America is interesting. I'm not sure it's there.
I'm all in.
Two things I want to talk about the Captain America thing later. I have an interesting anecdotal story today that I got to plug with that. But what's also interesting, Mark, that I've thought about as I've been thinking about this movie, it would be fascinating if they somehow got a way to put RDJ and Harrison Ford together in a post-credit scene, literally a foil to the Incredible Hulk post-credit scene where RDJ walks in and says, "What if I told you we were putting a team together?" Very similar to that, but kind of a Secret Wars-esque thing. I think that would be a really cool post-credit scene that people would really enjoy.
That's what I'm saying. They have to start doing post-credit scenes that actually have some implications into the story, the overarching story. Yeah,
right.
Not just Pizza Daddy or Pizza Pocket, whatever the guy was. Bruce Campbell's
it was fine when the Avengers movie did it, and it was just a shawarma thing. It's like, but that all the other movies leading up to that was just built to it. So like. Now we stayed for the end credit and it was funny and we're all like, oh, okay, that's kind of lighthearted. That's fun.
And that's what heroes do after saving the universe is they have some shawarma.
And that's what separates Marvel movies from every other movie is their post-credit scene has implications for the future. Every other movie
used to.
That's what I was saying. But Marvel movies, other movies, they just do like funny things. It says, maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't, stuff.
When was the last meaningful end credit scene from a Marvel movie?
Probably Shang-Chi, my opinion.
What even was that one? I don't even remember.
That's the one where Wong picks him up in the bar, and then we have the screenshot of Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner talking about like, hey, your rings are sending out a pulse, and then something's tracking it. To me, that seemed like we were going to team up, and then we haven't gotten back to that.
We haven't got back to that, so therefore it doesn't count.
It's the Marvels. It's the Marvels one. It's the one where Rambo meets Beast. That's the most meaningful one because that one is saying
you're right. Hey, there's the multiverse is real for the movie audience. Yes, okay.
I still think Venom and No Way Home is the most impactful one.
Yeah,
getting Venom in the MCU.
That's nice.
Yeah, and then the next one that's paid off. Isaac, we've had a payoff for that.
But Ant-Man happened after that, Mark.
I can't remember. Did Madam Web have an end credit scene? Because that was pretty unforgettable.
No one saw that. So
I did not have an end credit scene because I knew it was complete garbage.
No one knows because no one ever watched it.
I watched it finally last week, and I told Isaac, unforgettable. Like I can't tell you what happens in that movie. It was so bad.
There's two types of bad movies. There's the ones that are completely forgettable that you're like a week later, you're like, I have no idea what even happened in that movie. And then there's the bad movies that are so bad that you remember them very well.
Yeah.
And actually Madam Web is a mix of both of those because there's some really bad parts that are memorable to me, but the whole movie as a whole is like, wow, that was real bad. What did you rate it, Mark? I'm really curious about that actually.
I'd probably give it like a 0.5 out of 6.
Whoa.
Not unwatchable in my book where I had to stop watching it, but it just wasn't for me and just wasn't good.
How long is that movie?
Like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
hour 40.
It was a little longer. I think it was like an hour 40, 45 maybe. I don't remember.
I want to give it. I would just want to
10
try
minutes
it, but
too
I don't
long.
know if I can.
Yeah.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
I just don't know if I can do it.
Oh my gosh. The thing about all of the other Sony Marvel movies, like the production's still fine. Like it's pretty good. But in Madam Web, the production level is also bad. And that's when it starts to get me as like a bad movie. I'm like, when you're spending $100+ million and your production level is bad, that's not a good sign. All right, let's talk about a better movie that is coming next week. Let's talk about Captain America Brave New World. Coming out on February 14th. Got Anthony Mackie back as Captain America. We've seen a few trailers. Harrison Ford is coming back. Well, I should not say coming back because this will be his debut as Thunderbolt Ross. R.I.P. William Hurt. Mark mentioned him in our group chat the other day. I was like, dang, kind of forgot about that. But at the same time,
he was supposed to be in this movie. He talked about the hype for this movie. So
he would have been. But Harrison Ford is going to be Thunderbolt Ross and Red Hulk. And we're getting a slew of other characters. Giancarlo Esposito as Sidewinder. Liv Tyler is coming back as Betty Ross. Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres or the Falcon. Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley. And Tim Blake Nelson as Samuel Stearns or the Leader. We've already gotten a bunch of trailers and stuff. But what is your guys' hype coming up to Captain America? How are you feeling about it so far?
I was going to say, I was hella hyped when it was initially called New World Order. And hearing that the Serpent Society was going to be in it. Yeah. And both of those things are gone. But I'm still all in for Anthony Mackie Captain America. I love me some Sam Wilson Captain America, so I'm all for it. And I'll definitely be doing my best to find a theater in my area to go see this movie, whether it's Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
Benson's not playing it.
I'll probably
they don't play
any of the Marvel movies, and they don't play movies on Saturdays, so it won't be.
The Saturdays of all days, they don't play movies on Saturdays.
And in the winter, I could see the summer because it's like locally owned, not to have sure, but like winters when like there's nothing to do. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, 0 cents.
Pay a couple high school kids to do it. Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know how I'm feeling about this movie quite. I'm all in on the new Captain America. I'm all in on moving forward in Marvel. I don't know. The trailers have been okay, but not like making me go like, oh my gosh, I have to see this movie. Like I'm probably gonna go see it. I don't know if I'll go opening weekend or not, but if we do a podcast for it, then I'll try to. But I don't know. There's just the trailers haven't been like, oh my gosh, I need to see this movie. Like Fantastic Four first trailer, I'm like, I have to see this. Like this looks so interesting that I have to see it. Where this just looks like the prototypical Marvel build from what they've had for the last few years. And I'm just like, I
think you're spot on.
I don't know if it's Marvel or what it is. I'm not as hyped anymore to see these movies. So
I think it's because it's not new, really. Like it is, we do get a new Captain America. So I think that's where it almost feels like it's, hey, this is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but a movie trailer. That's what it feels like to me. I would agree with you, where it's like it's just a regular like espionage kind of vibe and nothing too spectacular.
Like, yeah. The most hype out of this is Red Hulk.
Right.
That's what's getting the most hype out of these trailers is Red Hulk. So, I mean, I'll go see it. I'm hopeful. I hope that it's really good, but like my hype level is fairly low. Which usually, if my hype level is low, that means if the movie is just average, I'll really like it. So, so positive vibes there.
Max, what did you think of the trailer?
Yeah, well, to Robbie's credit too, it feels like there's been like 20 trailers for this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of promo that's come out for it.
What is the first trailer?
Yeah. So I was this morning. I was at this 6th through 12th grade high school, middle school thing. I preached a sermon there, and I just dropped that. I just put a picture up of Sam Wilson as Captain America for an illustration, and I said, "Is anybody going to go see this?" And I heard a couple kids in the back go, "Absolutely not!" And it was really fascinating because on the next slide, I had a picture of the Winter Soldier, and the room started clapping for that movie. So it's just this kind of cultural interesting moment, I think, where look, this is like the most important stretch in the history of Marvel film, I think, coming up, because
Let's make it or break it, baby.
This is because it's Captain America, Daredevil, Thunderbolts, Ironheart, Fantastic Four. Like 4 of those 5, you kind of got to hit on. You can't mess up Daredevil. Thunderbolts is essentially, how I'm understanding, a follow-up immediately to this movie. And then Fantastic Four, we just got done talking about how excited we are. After that, it's the next slate is Eyes of Wakanda, Marvel Zombies, and Wonder Man, and we don't really know what's after that aside from the big movies. So like, if they don't hit at least like all these baseball terms a double here, they are going to be in really big trouble. I think Mark, you were spot on earlier with what you were saying about they're going to have to start doing weird post-credit scenes. They're going to have to start making announcements early. They're going to have to start doing different things. So all that to say, I think that's the cultural view of this movie at the moment. Maybe to kind of Robbie your credit is like, that's why I think they're pumping out so many trailers. It's why I think, it feels like they're doing more marketing for this movie than they've done for other Marvel movies historically. Maybe I'm crazy.
I would say over the last 4 movies, absolutely, they've done more marketing for this one.
Yeah, this just feels like, and even Thunderbolts,
and for longer too. Not just like I know the Marvels they like really pushed 2 weeks before, but I feel like we've kind of been pushed. We've been pushed this movie for the last 2 months.
I legit thought this movie was coming out last month because of how often I was seeing stuff for it. I was like, this movie has to be coming out this week or the next week or something. Come to find out, it doesn't come out for a whole other month. And I was like, what? They are pushing this thing like crazy. And I kind of wonder, like Max is saying, I wonder if they're worried.
I think they're worried. I think they're worried. I really do.
They got to condition the general audience that it's not Chris Evans being Captain America.
Right.
So they are setting expectations for everybody that, hey, you're Captain America that you remembered in all these other Marvel movies because you didn't watch the Disney Plus movies or shows, that Anthony Mackie is now your Captain America. And he has wings. And he doesn't have the super serum.
And he doesn't have the super serum.
Yeah, I think, Mark, you're spot on. I think there's so much to watch.
And just like always, people are going to be upset that there is not a white Captain America.
It's ridiculous.
And that's online already.
That's ridiculous.
But however, those people that hate, I don't think are comic book fans, because what I love what they're doing, like what we're getting now in this series of movies and films, we're going to get true to the comic story and not be pushed any agenda like, what I think the last kind of phase or few movies and shows did. And we're just going to be true to the source and no BS and just give us a good movie and shows. I think that's what we're going to get from Disney this coming year. So
I hope you're right, Mark. But anyway, I made that point earlier, Isaac, just to kind of piggyback off what Robbie was saying, because I think that's kind of, Robbie is what I would consider more educated fan. But I think for the general audience, they feel very similar to where Robbie's at. They're like, we'll see, but I'm probably going to go. I personally am excited. I liked Captain America and the Winter Soldier TV show. I know it's called Falcon, but I'm calling it Captain America and the Winter Soldier
they called it
TV show. I think Anthony Mackie has earned the opportunity to go give this thing a go.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was really wise of them to put their eggs in the basket of Red Hulk. In my opinion, I'll be shocked if there's no Hulk in this movie, Green Hulk, especially if you've got Liv Tyler coming back. I want to see Mark Ruffalo talk.
Well, Mark Ruffalo's got to show up in this movie.
He's got to show up. Like he has to.
Give me Edward Norton.
I want that. Oh, yeah, let's do that, right?
There's been little whispers online that says end credit scene is going to get a multiverse Hulk in this, and they predicted that it's Edward Norton's Hulk.
It's going to be some stupid thing of like Edward Norton at a coffee shop
bar like, talking about his universe.
You look familiar. Never been here before. It's going to walk away, and it's not going to matter at all.
The post-credit scene has to be Thunderbolts, right? Because I mean,
well,
we know Thunderbolt Ross.
Story, it's got to be that.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
We know Thunderbolt Ross, but we don't know anything about this team that he's assembling from any other media that we're like. It has to be him getting the team together, or whatever.
It has to be Thunderbolts, and the reason that they have the asterisk there is I bet at the post-credit scene, it's Thunderbolts, -- whatever you need there, and it's Dark Avengers or New Avengers. It's something like that. He's literally in the trailer saying Avengers.
However, we get what's Juliette Louis-Dreyfus? What's her character? Isn't she Madam Hydra? So like she's the one that's like putting it together. So like, are we going to get a backdoor Hydra team by accident, or what's going to is Hydra going to be back in these next 2 movies?
Hydra's always in play.
At the end of this movie, Sam Wilson is saying, "No, I'm not doing an Avengers team. Go do your thing." He'll go off and
accidentally winds up in West Coast Avengers.
to really hype it up, do we get Chris Evans in this post-credit scene?
He's coming back.
And hang on, in all fairness, an old man Cap could show up in this. He's still alive in current
That would be
timeline. He
great.
is currently alive.
Right.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of cooks in this kitchen, though, Isaac, and that does concern me. They're doing a lot. They got the leader. They got Harrison Ford. They got Giancarlo Esposito.
And they used to have the Serpent Society. They used to have
they were going to do the Serpent Society. Like, they've had
they have scenes filmed for that they cut.
I mean, Giancarlo Esposito's character is still Sidewinder, so like they could do some various form of Serpent Society, even though it's probably not going to be a full.
And the other thing, they had the political thing going on here with Shira Haas, right? Like, they had this Israel like kind of weird storyline that's been in it that people are like, oh, stay away from that because of what's going on overseas. Like, I think there's a lot of Anthony Mackie said the other day, he's like, I don't think Captain America is just about America. I think it's about more than that. Chris Evans said the same thing. There's literally a beat for beat quote that Chris Evans said this in the first Captain America movie, and people are just losing their marbles over this. So I think it's just like with how these movies have been, and this movie in particular, I think really people are going like, you better get going here, Marvel. Like we see a finish line and we don't have a runway like we have. And I think that's a lot of pressure for these guys.
You mentioned Anthony Mackie saying that, but what I found interesting about this press tour is Harrison Ford is talking a lot, which is not a character for him at all. But one thing that he said to that effect was the reporter person mentioned something about a black Captain America, and Harrison like literally stopped her and he was like, I don't think there's a black Captain America. I think there's Captain America. Sam Wilson is Captain America.
That was a great catch
line
by him too. It's like, no one ever called it the white Captain America.
Yeah,
like,
right.
It's just Captain America.
They kind of addressed that in Falcon and Winter Soldier too.
Yes, it's already been talked about.
Yeah,
we spent 6 episodes working on this. Can we move on from it?
Well,
like I don't
like you said before, people had to watch it and people didn't watch it.
I know. Carl Lumbly is in this movie. There's video. There's filming of him losing his marble Manchurian Candidate. Like, he is essentially the first black Captain America. Like, I don't understand people who want to see this movie. It just feels unnecessary. There's a ton of. This is the most weighty external Marvel movie ever.
And that's why this movie has to slap.
They got to nail this.
Whether it is a box office success, good. But I think top to bottom, this film has to be just like well written, well executed. I think that's what really has to die on.
It can't just be another middle of the road. Like middle of the road for Marvel is a good movie.
Yep.
It can't be a middle of the road movie for Marvel.
It's got to be another Winter Soldier movie.
It has to be up there with Winter Soldier. It has to be has to be like an instant top 10. And if it's not, it like Marvel might suffer for it.
I just hope that it's not, everyone shits on it.
Well, because I would argue that the Captain America trilogy that we have is probably the best trilogy for Marvel. If you're just putting movies back to back to back, Guardians of the Galaxy is really good too.
It's in the conversation for sure.
It's in the conversation. So it's like, but like we have to. If you can't be right underneath the Winter Soldier, if this isn't the second best Captain America, I think it might suffer a little bit, and Marvel might suffer a little bit. And
it can be worse than Civil War. I can live with it being worse.
It would be hard for it to be better than Civil War because Civil War was basically just Avengers. But
Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Ant-Man Quantumania, or Thor 2, or
Iron Man. We're gonna say, Mark, they've burned.
Can't be all those.
It can't be that bad.
To say what you just said, Robbie, the middle of the road movies that are good, they've done them. They're done. We've gone through that list of movies.
Right.
We did it with the Marvels. We did it with Ant-Man Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
Well, the Marvel
that was low level to some.
Quantumania was supposed to be, and that's, I mean, if we're really getting the crux of it, that's where things started to go downhill, because that was supposed to be like this sets up for the next.
Was so bad,
right? Thor: Love and Thunder. Like, I think I loved Black
what
Panther.
A forgettable movie.
Forever.
No.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. These are all either middle of the road movies where people were like, "Oh, that wasn't good."
Mark loves him some Love and Thunder.
It came out at a right time, right after.
Then Shang-Chi was so good, and
Shang-Chi was like another top tier movie in my opinion.
I would say that's a top tier. I would watch that before all those movies that Max just mentioned.
And I'll die on this hill. Maybe some of you guys will be on with me. Eternals is also another really good movie.
Eternals was good.
Eternals is more interesting than half of the movies Max just mentioned.
Yeah.
The payoff of it is actually decent compared to everything else.
And Eternals matters for this movie.
definitely doesn't deserve the hate that it gets for sure.
And another one that has an
Right.
end credit scene that means something.
Like start
True.
giving us movies again that matter to
Right.
the grand scope of the MCU. Like they have to matter. And the end credit has to matter, and they have to connect to everything else. And if they don't, then it's just like, okay, so you just did this as a cash grab. It's like, well, people are done with the cash grabs.
The audience is too smart for the cash grab to happen. You're right on.
They'll still make their money because it's
Yeah.
still Marvel. Like
But if you
Marvel
treat the
movies
audience
just
with
hit no
respect,
matter
you're
what.
gonna make
but
more money.
yeah, it's like you could make a lot more money if the movie's actually good.
I think the superhero phenomenon in our society is over. I don't want to say over because I'm not saying like superhero genre is dead. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that, but like everybody is not on board with superheroes anymore.
Right.
That phase where everybody and their mother loved all the superhero stuff coming out, that's over. They're still doing just fine. Like they're still going to make money. It's not
They're
like
still they're still the best selling movies. Like
yeah, but
you look at
it's
the
not
box office
like
every
you
year.
can make literally anything and throw it out there and it's going to stick. Like you need to start making good movies, especially like Max said, for the future of the MCU. This year is crucial. We've got 3 big Marvel movies coming out. We got Captain America, we've got Thunderbolts, and we've got Fantastic Four First Steps. If they don't hit on some of these, like Max was saying, the future of the MCU is in jeopardy. And I say that in quotations because they're going to continue making movies, they're going to continue making money. But that the longevity of the MCU is at stake here. If they can hit on these, I mean, we're going to see beyond phase 6, phase 7, phase 8, whatever, you know?
And they have to deal with the, I don't know if you want to call it the threat, but the potential if Superman is really, really good, has meaning, gives people a reason to go back to like watching superhero films. It's like it doesn't have that same fatigue feel. Marvel does not want to ever take a backseat to DC. And now DC has their boy in James Gunn. So I think there's that, because like Max, you mentioned how many different things, 4 or 5. If they fail on 4 out of 4 of those, and Superman is a hit, could see a shift in what people want to see. And I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic having those two, like Fantastic. I mean, going to Fantastic Four, but Fantastic Four and Superman,
dude.
back to
And the
back.
tones of both of those are just so wholesome too. Like that's like I just see both those movies crushing it, and I see all of us being jazzed when it's July here. I see us coming on here and being excited in July.
How fun would that
I
be
just
to be hyped for?
Oh, it'd be
comic
so
movies again?
nice. And I think that's the thing. I hope Marvel understands that they did make their bed in some ways with this. Like we talk about the political stuff and the Black Captain America thing. As chuckleheaded as it is, their TV show made that the main point of conversation. So it is Marvel's fault that the conversation's happening, in my opinion. Like, I don't think people are idiots for asking the questions. I just am more annoyed that people haven't watched it or they continue to drive the point home. And I will say, I think Chris Evans and Anthony Mackie didn't have to say, I don't think Captain America is about America, because that's really not true either. It's like saying Superman's not about truth, liberty, and justice. Like he'll say that. It sounds corny, but that's the bit.
Right.
That's the bit.
It's Captain America.
It's okay to be about it. And
I mean, like,
just
did they have to say it? No, but like, I understand what they're saying. Like, Captain America isn't about the country of America. It's about the ideals that America represents, and that's what they're trying to say. And maybe they didn't say it like perfectly in the you know.
And it's paraphrased too. I'm just more saying I think Anthony Mackie didn't have to say it. I think he made it something he didn't have to make it. And he could have given a much more generic answer than he gave. But I'm not blaming Anthony Mackie. He followed in the footsteps of Chris Evans, who said it first.
I think it's probably a matter of just like being taken out of context too, just in an interview that they're just whatever talking about.
It's just clickbait. It's all clickbait. Yeah, right. But it's all relevant because of how they decided to write that TV show.
That's fair. So overall, guys, what is your hype for Captain America: Brave New World? Are you going to see it in theaters next week, or are you going to wait for it?
We're all going to go see it.
I hope I can see it as soon as possible, but given my living area,
you got to call up your local theater and be like, "I need this movie."
I gotta hope it's not snowing.
Mark, come on up to St. Cloud and we'll go see it.
Just pay for a private screening.
We're busy, I believe.
Come up.
Yeah.
How much would a private screening in the Benson Theater be? Like, just tell them like, "Hey."
Well, they would have to have the movie though too. And you know I'd pay that. If it was like $200 and just, hey, let me do it all on Saturday morning, I would 100% do that. But they won't have the
That would
movie.
be awesome.
And if they do, it won't be for like 3 weeks.
My hype
Unfortunate.
level is like a 2.
Oh,
I'm gonna go see
wow.
it. I said my hype level is low. I don't have any hype for this. Like, I'm probably gonna go see it just because I'm hopeful, but my hype for it is very, very low. So 2, I guess. I don't know.
Just hot takes. Robbie is.
I don't think it's a hot take.
on this
I've
podcast.
said that many times, and I'm not.
I'm
that
a
excited.
4 out of 6.
Well, you said low, but that's.
I'm at a 4 out of
That's
6
low.
like Mark too, and I don't think Robbie's crazy for that. I think that's the general public view of it at the moment, and I think it's okay that people are cautious about this given everything that's happened.
Yeah.
Last couple of years.
You know what? Having low expectations.
What's yours,
has been
Isaac?
good for
What's
this.
yours?
I'm at a 4 as well. I'm like not over the moon. Like this is going to be the best movie ever, but I'm still excited. I'm ready to see big Marvel movies again. Is what it comes down to. I'm just like excited to go to a movie theater, watch Captain America. You know, like just in general. I'm just excited. I'm like cautiously optimistic, I would say.
And it feels like we're getting back to the original Marvel formula, which was like, 3 movies in 7 months. I'm really excited about that. That's something I'm very excited about. That was really hard this year, and I think it was intentional for them to do it that way of like, okay, I kind of want this back, and I'm glad they're doing it. The other thing that I didn't say earlier, Reed Richards should have not had a mustache. I think Pedro
That's
Pascal should have gotten
interesting.
rid of the mustache.
He's just being Pedro Pascal.
This is Pedro Pascal.
Yeah,
Very
as
stupid.
Reed
Very
Richards.
stupid move by Pedro Pascal. He looks like Reed Richards without the mustache.
Yeah,
Okay.
he should have just shaved his mustache, or they should have given him a beard. They probably should just shave for now and give him a beard later in the MCU.
Nah,
But
shave it. It would have been cool to see him clean shaven.
I love Pedro Pascal, but like I know we already talked about it. I don't love him as Reed Richards either.
yeah, it just seems like a weird
Does
casting.
Grogu show
Piggybacking on that. I love
Grogu
Reed,
shows
but
up. When Franklin shows up, he's gonna have another child to protect, so it'll be his role.
I disagree. I think he's a great pick. I think his cadence really will do great with how Reed Richards talks. How Reed Richards will just trail off and talk about something really, really smart, and then Sue will look at him, and he also has a similar vibe to how they've casted Namor, and I think it's really important that relationship
That's gonna
has
be fun to
some
see
interpersonal
in the
conflict.
MCU. Is
Also
those
interesting
two
that
interact.
they did cast Pedro Pascal, being for the fact he's almost 60, compared to the rest of the cast being in their 30s. I found that interesting because, like,
that's the
to
other
me, it's
thing
like,
I was
well,
thinking about too.
how
like,
many movies
he's
are they planning to
older
do with
now.
him? Because if they go 10
He's
years,
not
the dude's
almost
almost 70.
60, is he? Is he really that old?
He's up there. I don't know.
I was thinking he
I
was
think
like
he's in
late
his 50s.
40s, maybe 50s.
He's 49.
He's 49?
Oh,
I thought he was older.
okay, that's fine.
That's a Mandela effect right there for me. I thought he was like 57.
You thought
Okay,
he was
it's not too bad.
57.
You thought he
I
was,
thought he was.
you said he
It
was
was
in
because he was in that movie with Nick Cage, and you're just getting them. You thinking they're the same age? That's why.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's exactly it. Nick Cage throwing me off my game.
Isaac, how old is Nick Cage? Go.
He's 60,
He's
61
30.
maybe, but
He's
he
61.
looks kind of like he's 70. So
Incredible that
he
you.
looks old.
He's 60. No. He's 61. It's incredible that you.
I
Well done.
think he just turned 61.
He
this
did just
month.
turn 61. How about that?
January 7th. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at you, Isaac. Incredible.
I know my Nick
Look
Cage
at that.
facts. So.
I
You
I've
wanna talk
literally
about
been
Nick
on
Cage. I could talk
podcasts
about Nick
before
Cage.
to talk about Nick Cage. So
Don't
So I know
bring
my
up
stuff.
the one in front of me and think you know more.
if only they had casted Nicolas Cage as Reed Richards.
Well, aren't we getting a Spider-Man Noir? I think you'll be satisfied with that.
True, I am pumped for.
It's the
The
way
Spider-Man
it's.
Noir
Is the
series.
Spider-Man Noir going to kind of be like the Power Rangers thing, where it's like someone else underneath the suit, but when they need Nick Cage in the suit, he'll rip it off, and the body
Rip it
will
off,
just,
and he's there.
just be a little flabbier than before.
Yep, I would love that. I think that would be hilarious. All right, guys. Any other comments on either Fantastic Four or Captain America before we start wrapping things up here?
You can do this, Marvel. Don't mess this up.
Mess it up, Marvel.
Please,
DC's
Daddy
coming.
Feige, don't let this be bad.
We could do both. Both are good. I would love to see DC crush it, Robbie. Let's do both.
You mentioned, Robbie, that could be a problem for Marvel. I don't think it would be, because I think that would just elevate the whole superhero genre.
See,
I
but
think
no, but
people
here's
would
the
be
thing. We've
excited
been
about
saying
it.
this for years. We're like, oh, if Marvel continues to do well, then DC will do well. And DC's continued to not do well. So, you know what? I don't know.
He's right.
That's because they're making bad movies, though. That's
Well,
the
it's because
thing.
the Snyder Bros somehow control WB. I don't understand.
Well, the reason when Snyder was in that realm, what was the cancer to WB is they had too much overchange of leadership, and they had more hands in the cookie jar. Where Disney has always just been like, Feige, you do your thing, and so they're taking that model with James. Granted, they have two people technically with James Gunn and the other guy, but that's why DC was in a better situation now that
they're in a very good
10
spot
years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just to tickle this, do you think Feige is just now thinks of himself as the smartest guy in the room and now doesn't know exactly how to get back?
No, I think he's humble, and I think another thing is having Iger back is going to is bringing back that old leadership than what was there after he left.
I think Feige struggles with certain leaders, like to Mark's credit too. Like he struggled with Perlmutter. I think he struggled. I forget the last guy's name that before before he came back. Yeah, I think he struggled with old leadership. But Robbie, Feige's name's all over the original Marvel movies too. Like he's a producer.
I know that. I'm saying he created that was his baby, but now over these last few years,
he's gotten a big head because
he's gotten a big head. Right. He's like, I can just make whatever I want, and people are going to go see it, and Disney's going to.
No, I'm saying he was on the original bad movies. He was a producer of the old movies. The old Fantastic Four movies,
yeah, but
old Spider-Man.
That's different because he didn't get to call the shots on those. That's
knows, but he was part of it. So his name's still attached to it. So in his head, he knows that he's part of. He has the cinematic universe, but he is also part of the bigger story altogether. So I think too I don't know if it's as much of a big head. I really think he is on a chase right now. Like the Deadpool and Wolverine movie pretty much confirmed this. He wants to right the wrongs of what those movies were. And he wants to make it all one big thing. Now that we've had movies talking about it, I just don't think it's the right move. And I don't know if it's arrogant, but he's losing like key producers. Nate Moore's done after this movie. He lost
James Gunn.
He lost James Gunn. He lost Victoria Alonso over some weird stuff behind the scenes. Like he's losing the people that kind of were with him the whole way to do it.
He's got to hire the Infinity Bros.
Yeah.
Only way to save them.
At least one of them.
Infinity Bros Productions coming soon.
Can you imagine if they hired Isaac? Nicolas Cage would be in all the movies.
Every single movie. Every single one. He'd be the leading man.
He'd be the new Stanley.
We're doing a Squirrel Girl movie starring Nicolas Cage.
He plays Squirrel number 3.
He actually plays everybody in the movie.
First on the credit.
Every single person, yeah.
It's him and Muppets. That's it. There's no other people.
It's like that Malkovich movie where every single character is John Malkovich.
Mark is leaning in.
What would you rather have? Would you rather have an Avengers movie where only one person is a human and everyone else is Muppets, or an Avengers movie where we have the main character be a puppet and everyone else is human?
Main character be a puppet.
I want one where everyone's a Muppet, but Thanos is still just Thanos.
Thanos is the real guy. Yep, that's what I want to.
Can you imagine in the Infinity War scene when Thanos shows up and it's a Muppet Doctor Strange saying you look more like Thanos? And it's like this huge philosophical conversation with a Muppet.
All right, boys. Here's my wrap up. Max, I'm glad you got your dream casting in Pedro Pascal for Reed Richards. Mark, it's fun to go in the weeds with you. And Robbie, I formally apologize for saying you didn't know what a book was.
Oh.
So there you go.
I know.
Thanks for joining me today, guys. It's been fun.
I've read books before.
I'm sure you have. Robbie.
I can read.
Okay.
I know how to read. I can read words. I can put letters together and I can make words out of it.
Yes, you can, Robbie.
Contrary to popular opinion, Robbie is actually a very smart guy.
Hot take, Robbie can't read? Is that what I just heard? Robbie, that was
Do you realize that all these magic cards have words on them?
Yeah.
You know the amount of reading I have to do just to read these stupid things?
What's more likely? Robbie can read, or our friend Elliot can do a walk-in impersonation?
Impersonation?
Oh, impersonation. My bad.
Thank you. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure I got my word right.
I'm going to say Robbie can read because he is a social media guru. And
have you read a magic card?
A little bit.
They're long.
They're very confusing.
There's many words.
Artificial intelligence can do a lot of things.
Some of them are very confusing.
I just imagine Robbie every time scans his phone with a card, and the phone reads it out loud.
I'm just
single
playing at a
time.
table, scanning every card.
Just takes Robbie like 7 hours to get a game of Magic done.
Jess, could you read this word? It's the, Robbie. It's the.
How does the T and the H make that sound?
Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thank you so much for making us a part of your podcast experience. If you're interested in more shenanigans like this from the Infinity Bros, check out theinfinitybros.com and tune in next Sunday to hear the Infinity Bros give their Stan Lee Awards for 2024. Our favorite movies, TV shows, Infinity Gems, and Bob Kane Awards from the year of 2024. We love you 3000. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at The Infinity Bros. You can also check out our website at theinfinitybros.com for links, reviews, and sweet merch. Feel free to send us listener feedback via social media or email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.